What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the American Entourage podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Stewman.
Jose.
Darian.
Well, another episode getting live here.
Yep.
What's on your mind this week, man? You was talking about some stuff, car crash shit earlier.
Yeah, man. It's a kid out of Virginia. He got 50-year sentence for a car crash with no fatalities and was sober.
That
seems, he's black, by the way, too.
Yeah, that seems like a weird thing. It's like, okay, people get car crashes every day sober. Yep. How is that a crime? You know?
What happened, though?
Yeah,
he damaged some property and got 50 years for it.
Damaged property. What?
Like drove into a building or something?
I don't know the whole shebang, honestly. Yeah. He got 50 years for a non-fatal car crash. Where'd they do that?
Yeah. I was driving home from the gym the other day, and I seen a old Asian lady drive right through Subway. I'm like, man, Subway don't have a drive-through. She drove right through that motherfucker, man, through the front door of the bitch. Like, the fire department was there and everything. I bet she got out and went, who put building here? I want insurance. Like, fucking crazy shit, man.
It's right here. His name is Matthew Russian. Right?
What did he crash into?
Let's see. I'm looking at it right now.
But they might have gave Subway an idea of doing a drive-through.
right in the middle of the place.
Yeah, I hate walking in there, but I love their sandwiches. They're good.
So he got misinformed. He pleaded. There was another kid in the same area. He's 21 years old who pled guilty on August 2019 for 2 charges of malicious wounding and 1 charge of hit and run, and only got 5 years.
Man,
same county.
Same county.
But what do you run into?
But how do you get? Google that shit. Like, cause how you get 50 years for a car crash? Like, okay, you drunk? Yeah, you get some time. Maybe you killed somebody. Maybe you fucked a building up. There was a lot of money. But like, if you just crash a car, that's crazy. Remember that? I got another Asian driver joke. Remember the Asian chick that ran the stop sign? We were coming back from lunch one day, and the F-350 plowed her ass and knocked her upside down in that CRV.
It's just a regular car accident.
Just a car accident.
50 years.
He hit a politician or some shit? What the fuck?
I have no idea. So he's on the high spectrum of it. He has Asperger's.
Okay. That means he's obsessive.
I wrecked a Maserati about 3 years ago, going 130.
Yeah,
I hit 3 cars, and I do not have the pictures in this phone, but I lost the front wheel. And I'm talking about the axle and everything flew out with it. And I mean, I did a little bit of time violation, but it was just a DWI. My insurance is pretty high now because of that. I had to pay for those 3 vehicles, but I didn't get 50 years for it.
Damn.
That's crazy.
So,
like, what kind of...
Now, this is systematic racism, like...
And what kind of judge do you have to be?
We finally got somebody. We were talking about all the other shit in the past that has no criminal record, good kid, autism, and gets 50 years for a car accident.
So where's the GoFundMe page and shit for that guy? Is there one?
There's a petition right now to get the governor of Virginia to pardon all his charges.
But even imagine what he's going through.
How can you be the DA and prosecute that case? How can you be the judge and prosecute that case? Like, black, white, indifferent. Like, how are you going to give anybody 50 years in prison on a first offense and they didn't kill somebody?
I finally found it.
All right.
Matthew was leaving a parking lot and hit a car after picking up pastries at a Panera. Laverne said he may have been trying to grasp what happened because of his autism. Matthew turned back, and when he turned around, he lost control and hit another car, according to police investigation. He was sentenced to 50 years for the crash with 40 years suspended. A crash, he says, was unintentional. Russian pled guilty on August 6, 2019. So, he didn't have a good lawyer.
Man, that's crazy.
He pled guilty, probably expecting to get probation, and got 50 years.
And so what they said was 40 suspended, so that means he's got to do a 10-year sentence. But even with parole, man, that's 2.5 years. If you're a good dude, and you get your first one, that's fucking crazy, man.
That's modern day. That's the modern day string them up.
Yeah,
that's modern day slavery. Yeah, let's be real.
Yeah, no, it is.
Because I think they pay the average prison worker, what is it, like like $1.16 a day or something like that?
I think the guys in
That's how it comes
Unicor
out.
got paid $12 or $20 a month, and they work 9 to 5, 40
I'm
hours.
talking
a week.
national average.
Yeah,
Slavery. No,
It's
but
modern day slavery.
I made 75 cents a month to clean the broom closet when I was in federal prison. 75 cents a month. That's hey man. I was getting.
Can't
it.
even get no
Yeah, I was
Jolly
getting
Rancher.
it, man.
yeah,
That's
you ever
crazy.
read the book, The New Jim Crow?
I heard of it, but I never read it.
Yeah, you gotta read it. It's a female. I think her name's Michelle something. And she talks about everything that we're seeing right now. And that book was written 4 years ago. Oh fuck, I was still like, I see, maybe 6, 7 years ago. And I saw it on Netflix too. Book's way better, and it pretty much just talks about the same thing going on right now with this car crash, or these young kids, Hispanic, blacks. It talks a lot about that. But I also see white people who grow up in lower classes get the same treatment we do. And one thing I do know, and I know this for a fact, I've been up there to see them people with a court-appointed attorney, right?
Me too. God damn.
What the
That's scarier
fuck?
than having a gun pulled on you. I shit you not.
That
They really don't
motherfucker.
care.
He's scared. He acting like he's gonna get sentenced, right?
Yeah.
But I got sharpened up, right? As a young age, I promised myself I was never gonna go do that. I ended up hiring Cynthia Barbary. She was one of the best criminal attorneys when I was in the game doing my thing. And every time she walked into a room, everybody would get scared, right? Because she broke a case. I think it was in like 2000. They had these DEA agents that were setting up innocent people with sheetrock, and they would.
I remember that.
You remember that?
Dang.
It was De La Paz and
Like broken down sheetrock to make it look like.
Yep.
rocks, like bricks, and people were getting
crazy.
30 years, 40 years, and she opened that whole case, and she became internationally known. So every time she walked into the courtroom, I feel confident, and I have a fighter with me, and it just changes the whole game, right? I was supposed to be sitting. I beat some cases. Let's just put it that way. I beat some cases I wasn't supposed to beat because I had the right person, right? I had my version of Johnny.
What'd that
Cochran.
run you?
It ran me some money. It was 6 figures.
Yeah.
It was 6 figures.
I'm watching Ghost Power Part 2.
Man.
And the Method Man was like this big high power attorney, and he's like, I need you to get my mom off. He's like, $500,000 cash wired tomorrow. No
Yeah.
questions. And that's just the first payment. I'm like, God damn.
But
That
it gets
Instagram
done.
live was raw.
Yeah.
Tariq was smart as hell for that.
Yeah.
And he got the
It's done.
50 bands up.
But she got it done. She gets it done. So there is the possibility that this dude had a court appointed, and also racism comes into it, right? But I think it's a social class, because even if you're not a rich DEA agent or DA agent or district attorney, and you see someone walking in, the first thing they're gonna see us is in our jumpers. We don't get shaves and haircuts in there, so we come in there looking like bums. And the first thing
Yeah, that
comes
shit
to
they
their
show on the
attention-
news
that's
where
a
they
fact.
give you a shirt and shit like that. They don't do that in Texas.
Fuck no, man.
Texas, you show up to court looking like a goddamn criminal already, and you got to convince a jury or your peers that you're not the person they just have you dressed up as. It's such fucking stacked against
Have
you.
you went to court through Lou Sterrett?
No, I haven't been through there.
Fuck, man, they put you in this fucking freezer. They put you in a cell, and I think they dropped that bitch down to like 30, right? So you're in there shivering. So by the time you go to court, your teeth are shattering, your knees are boxing each other. They're just
You look
just
like
in
you
there
on some
shaking.
dope.
Yeah, so you go in there shaking like, what the fuck? You're in there trying to rub. There's nothing in there. All you can do is just kind of put your arms inside your jumper and just kind of warm yourself. This shit is terrible.
That's crazy, bro. That should be illegal.
That's psychological torture right there.
You know, the
crazy.
thing about the court-appointed attorney is he don't want to win the case, because then they're not going to appoint him no more. You know what I mean? They're like, every time we appoint this motherfucker, he beats us. We trying to convict people. That's our job. That's like that's like giving the good leads to somebody other than yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you got to lay down sell. You might as well call it and do your business, right? Why hand that off? You giving it to somebody else. Hell, that's like passing the ball to the other team so they can shoot a 3-pointer on you, man.
And that's
Like,
it's the craziest thing too, because like if you're talking about money coming out of college, right? You're gonna be a doctor or a lawyer. Why would you go to law school for 10 years to be a corner appointed attorney and make like 80 racks.
Hey man, because
like what?
Hey, because average attacks everybody.
Yeah,
average attacks everybody. Let me tell you, I know a Harvard lawyer that was working for $90,000 a year at a title company I worked for. This dude had from Harvard Law, got his goddamn law degree from fucking Harvard, and this motherfucker is maybe clearing 6 figures with his little fucking side hustle. You know what I mean?
Piece of paper.
But like, holy shit, man! I feel like if I had a law degree from Harvard, shit, man, fuck, dude.
$1 million a
There
month.
wasn't shit, $1 million a week. There wouldn't be nobody stopping me, boy. I'd be doing deals all over the goddamn place.
Because look what you did without it.
Yeah, I'm for sure not gonna go work for somebody. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go structure business deals. If I'm gonna work for somebody, it's damn sure not gonna be a fiat office of lawyers title. It's gonna be fucking, like Bain Capital or some shit, man. I'm gonna get up there drawing up deals for fucking the Koch brothers and shit. You know? Fuck.
Suing insurance companies.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people with degrees, bachelor's, master's, doctors, and do shit with it. Bums just getting average pay. 80 grand.
70.
Man, you know what blew my mind? You're right. You know what blew my mind? And I didn't know this as a kid. Thank God. Sometimes like ignorance is bliss. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was fucking ignorant of this factor. I would have fucked my whole life up. I think the single reason why I'm able to make the moves that I do and make the money that I do is because I don't owe nobody shit, right? I don't got no debt. Okay. And so my whole life I lived that way because when I was in the drug game, if you owed somebody money at any minute, you could get fucking shot or hurt or fucking beat up or jumped or some shit, right? So I've always had this stigma about not owing people money. I don't owe credit cards money. I don't like that shit, right? So here I am. I'll never forget. I'm working at the car wash, man. I'm making probably 60 grand a year, 50, 60 grand a year. I'm 19, 20 years old, maybe 21. And working at the car wash, and my friends, they working for all these other fucking places, right? And then they're going to school too. And I'm like, damn, they getting $20 an hour over here. They're going to school and they got fucking I didn't realize you got paid to go to school. Like, I didn't know that. I thought a student loan just paid for your books and classes. I didn't know they just gave you money to live on and everything else. So by the time I'm 26, you know what I mean? I'm already making damn near $1 million a year. And then some of my friends are going back to school. And I'm like, man, what the fuck you go back to school for? The books, there's books everywhere. Books are cheap as fuck. You can go to half price books. They're half price. You know what I'm saying? Books
I
are
love
cheap.
that place.
What the fuck are you going back to school for? Go pick some books from successful people. They're like, nah, man, we get paid when we go to school. They give us student loans, man, so we got money to take care of our car payments and apartment and shit like that. And I'm like, what? You get paid to go to school? They're like, well, we got to pay it back. But then they defer it for like 18 months and then flash forward 5 or 6 years, I start doing loans, right, at this point. And maybe two years, I start doing loans. The number one deal killer of fucking mortgages was Sally Mae loans, man. Motherfuckers, because they would have them deferred, so they ain't paid them, and they're like, oh, I'm going to defer them again. And then the underwriter's like, yeah, well, what if they don't defer again? Then all of a sudden you got an extra $2,000 a month that's been collecting interest for fucking 10 years that you ain't paid on that's going to come due every month, right? So it would kill people's mortgages, like if they couldn't prove that were going to get an extension, and Sally may be like, I don't know, maybe we will, maybe we won't. We'll talk at the end of your term. It would fuck their mortgage shit up. And so I realized, and that was another thing that's always kept me debt free, because I remember I did a loan for a lady one time who made $90,000 a year, had $135,000 in credit card debt. Credit card debt average interest rate back then was 22%. So 22% a year on $135,000, that's like fucking 30 grand a year. She'll never get out of it. That's half her goddamn salary. Because on that 80 grand that she's making, she's still getting taxed. You know what I'm saying? So she's only pulling in about 50. Then I'm like, man, fuck. Like people just don't understand.
30 years.
So the reason why I say that is a lot of people that go to school, they don't think long term. They're thinking, oh, let me get my money so I can pay my apartment bill this month, and I'll worry about shit in the future. That's how a lot of people retire too. I'm gonna buy everything while I'm alive, and when I'm 65, I'll let it ride. You know what I mean? We'll see how much money, how I can live on my Social Security. They don't put shit back. You know what I mean? Like for me, I'd be scared to death of being broke. First of all, I'm gonna have millions stacked up. Second of all, you can put $56,000 in your IRA every year, self-employed, right? That's how you max it out. To me, that's not a significant amount of money, so I put it back in there every year, right? If I do that for the next 20 years, I've already been doing it for 10. If I do it for the next 20 fucking years till it's time for me to retire, then guess what? I got a few $1 million in the bank account, plus whatever the compound interest has happened on the stocks that I've sold in there, right? I have a few $1 million to retire on if all else goes out the window. You know what I'm saying? But most people, they don't think like that. Like my parents, they're like, hey, what you going to do if something happens to you? It's time to retire. I don't know, Social Security. Like, your Social Security check will be $600. Your fucking mortgage is $3,000 a month. What? That is a fucking terrible plan.
I started doing that.
You got to.
Ryan's like, yeah, put this aside.
Bro, I've
Go to
been
E-Trade.
learning from other people. You see all these people at your local Walmart and Home Depot and stuff, 70, 80 years old, still working.
Yeah, that's bad. That's a bad look.
They have to work.
Yeah. They ain't there because they want to.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Hey, thank you for that tip. I put all my money into that one.
Yeah, this
stock
shit
you
went
told me.
50% this
Went
week.
50%.
Yeah, I already know.
looked at it, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Damn, how come I didn't put more into it?
If I give you a
that
stock
shit
tip,
went
it's a good one. and don't sell it. Like I'll tell you, I tell people when to buy and when to say. Be like, hey man, I sold that shit. Really, you sold way too early because you can't just. We ain't fucking with this kind of money anyway. But you can't just like consistently buy in and buy out the day of big things happening. Because eventually, if you're right too much, I always feel like anything else, the Fed's gonna be like, what do you know? Who you been talking
That's
to?
true.
You know. And I feel like they're more likely to fuck you when you're playing with 10 grand than when you're playing with 10 million. Because at 10 million, they're like, oh, he can fight us. At 10 grand, be like, lock this little motherfucker up. You know, right?
Yeah, that was a good one. I'm gonna put some more money into it.
Yeah, man, because it's only
good
gonna
time right
it's only
now.
gonna be more shit like that come. And once they actually release the product, everybody's gonna want it. You know.
I'm gonna go all in right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy everything I can.
Another good stock to buy right now, I'll just say this for the people out there, is Exp Realty. And if you see it going down, that's good. You buy when shit goes down. You don't buy when it's going up. But they've come a long ways, and they are, see, there's levels to business. And they're not definable levels. They're just things that you have to have an eye for. It's like art. You either see a Monet and go, that's absolutely beautiful, or you see a Monet and go, who the fuck puked on this fucking canvas, right? Like, and so with businesses, there is the startup phase, there is the growth phase, and then there's momentum. Momentum is when shit compounds, right? So startup phase, you're figuring shit out. Growth phase, all right, now we nailed it, we're scaling it. Momentum is we got this shit, right? And then there becomes a plateau phase and then a fade off for most businesses, right? And so there's like this basically this bell curve for businesses. Well, EXP, if they're not in it right now, they are on the cusp of momentum. More people are going to I see people every day switching to their on social media. I'm paying attention to it. I see more people every day switching over to their brokerage. More people every day bragging about their residual checks that no other company's bragging about. See, I work for a recruiter for a real estate company for a while, did it online, and they had kind of the same model, but they didn't have, the guy got locked up for tax evasion before he could fucking nail it and scale it. So I already know that this successful model, somebody else fucking came up with the same idea and took it, and it's public. I think we'll see the stock within the next 2 or 3 years go to about $80, and right now I think it's in the 30s. So that's and they're only going to keep growing. I got a lot of friends in the business. A lot of the celebrities, like my business partner Tariq, is he's doing it now. So he's got this huge TV show, and he's recruiting agents through his TV show, street cred, and they're fucking blowing up. So people are, and I already worked for Frederick and all those guys from $1 Million Mastermind back in the day. I worked with them, not for them. And so I know the influence that these guys on TV have over the marketplace. So it's fucking, as soon as they get one of these other guys on board with it, it's fucking goner,
For sure. It's like that dude, Josh Altman.
Yeah, I worked with him.
Killing it.
Yeah, we partnered on a few events back in the day. I worked with all those guys before they were 7 seasons into a TV show. I worked with them in 2013, I think it was. Maybe 2014. I worked with them for 2 years, and we built mastermind programs where they were the coaches, but I was the guy that put all. I didn't ever want to be the guy in the front. I always wanted to be the drummer. I didn't want to be the lead singer of the band. I was like, hey man, this guy, he'll make a good lead singer. But I kept running into people becoming divas. You know what I mean? Like after we make a few dollars, they're like, well, you know, I'm actually thinking like, bitch, you just showing up and singing songs. I wrote these motherfuckers and playing the music that goes along with them, you know? And a lot of people didn't see it that way. Like a lot of lead singers think that they make the whole band, but that's not the case. Van Halen did just fine without Sammy Hagar, you know?
Yeah.
Or without David Lee Roth. Either one of them, they've done just fine without him. But, you know, a lot of these stars, they let shit go to their head, you know? Doesn't mean they're bad people, you know? But maybe they thought, hey, this dude's playing too small. I need to play on a bigger level because I wasn't playing that big back then too. So there's that possibility. But I was like, man, shit, this shit keeps working out the same way over and over and over again. I'll just do the shit myself, you know.
And you're better off for it though.
Yeah, yeah.
But that happens in business too, right? Somebody gets really super good at something and they become divas.
Yeah, sales guys do it all the time.
Oh, I hate working with them. You know, I'd rather go find somebody less talented than deal with that personality. I hate it. That douchebag. I'm higher than mighty person. Nah, I can't do it. I've known a lot of successful people who are humble. You know, they understand. You know, they've been through it to where they understand that it can be taken away from them at any moment. And relationships are, I mean, I think relationship is the stronghold of a good career of success. Is having good relationships. Because even if you're down on your luck, Donald Trump, how many times has he been broke? I mean, not broke, but had to file for bankruptcy.
And not everything works out.
You know, so.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think somebody's really successful if they hadn't already had it and lost it yet? Because, like, I think part of success is you get it and you lose it. Mm-hmm. I don't think if someone's on a hot streak, I don't really think they're successful. What do you think?
You got to be consistent. And then also, like, you're going to fail, too. It's like, I even went through this. When I started making money, I was blowing cash. To the point where I'm like, yo, you need to chill out. Because this will affect your business directly. It was then at that point when I realized that everything that I got out of like blowing cash and all that was totally detrimental to just me as a person, my network, so on and so forth. When I really started to stack cash, get humbled again, and be low key is really when like everything went up in every other area of my life. I
think you got to get slapped in the face with a reality check in order to live in a real world, you know. But I can tell you this, and this will really help out the listeners. The reason why when we first start making money, we get rid of it like that, we blow it on stupid shit, is because we don't know what to do with it. We know we're not supposed to hold on to it, and we feel uncomfortable with what we're making, and then we don't know what to do with it. So a lot of people don't go buy stocks in real estate and shit like that because they don't know how. There's a fear of the unknown, but they'll go buy a Gucci belt or they'll go spend 10 grand on bottle service. And it's because they don't know. They're like, I got this money. Money's the root of all evil, subliminally. Money's the root of all evil. Money causes crime. Money will corrupt you. Money's greed, blah, blah, blah. Man, I got to get rid of it, right? And that's what's subconsciously going on in people's minds. And the smart people finally make the connection that you made that says, I'm going to get rid of it still, but I'm going to get rid of it into assets instead of liabilities. I'm going to get rid of it into shit that's going to make me money instead of take my money, right? But a lot of people never make that transition, and they don't even realize how uncomfortable they are about having money in their bank account. Like, my first goal was to get $10,000 in cash in my savings account, okay? That was like a long time ago. It was one of my first goals. It took me a while to adjust to having 10 grand in my account, not thinking I could take a day off from work, not thinking I was rich, because to me at that time, that was fucking rich. You know what I mean? And then I had to work up to 25 grand. I had to get comfortable with having 25 grand, then 50, then 100, then $1 million. I had to get comfortable with that shit. You know what I mean? It isn't like you can just get it and you're like, oh, like I can hold on to this. I'm confident that I can do something with it, as opposed to like, oh shit, that Hermes purse for 20 grand looking really fucking good on my wife. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, but a lot of people, they never reach that level. But I went into it slowly. I think it would have been a big curse had I just overnight dumped millions of dollars into me, because I'd have fucked it all up. Because that's what happens to ball players. They don't know what to do with it. A lot of times they don't have somebody around them. I got a friend that plays ball, and he made really good money. And he's like, I got to get used to having this kind of walking around money before I spend any of it. I'm like, that's smart, real smart.
That's what they don't teach in institution, in an educational institution. They don't teach what the rich dad, poor dad advice the rich dad would give them on how to put money to the side, how to start a business, how to make the money work for you. They don't teach us that.
Yeah.
They teach us about marketing. They teach us about history. They teach us about math. They teach us how to work. I guess they train you to go work, right? They don't train us. They don't teach us how to be entrepreneurs.
They teach us how to be consumers. Yeah. Think about everything that's perpetuated, right? In a hip hop society. That's America right now, right? Especially like with millennials. You see, they got Gucci, blah, blah, blah. As soon as somebody touched the bag, I've been a victim of this. So first thing, I remember my first 3 claims, I made about 30 racks. I hadn't even moved out the place was in yet, and I was already coming in with bags of Louis Vuitton.
My wife got some, but when we were in Vegas, I could buy the whole store at this point. And when we were in Vegas, my wife's like, you probably look cool with like a Louis or Gucci duffel bag. So we went and looked, and I was like, man, I like mine. It's got wheels on it. You know what I mean? Like, I like my shit. It's got my initials carved in it. Like, it's cool. I think I paid $69 for it. You know what I mean? I just couldn't get myself to do it. I have some nice shit because sometimes shit calls for nice shit. You know what I mean? But I can't blow my shit on it.
Both of y'all got me wired up last week when y'all were looking at the Philippe. What were they playing?
Hey, man, my jacket came in from him that my wife bought me for my birthday yesterday. And it's a European large. I didn't realize European shit. I put that on, boy. I got half a shoulder in that motherfucker, man. Like this, like a Chinese large or some shit, man. It's like I thought Europe at least they're in Switzerland. I thought it'd be like big ass Nordic dudes wear, but boy,
them helps little.
No, man. So I'm like, you'll have to get an extra large. I hope it don't hang down too low.
They ain't got them Texas. They ain't got them Texas arms.
Yeah,
shoulders. That's different breed over here.
So let me share something with you guys, and I think the audience will get a lot out of it too. So I have 21 rules for money. Okay. And so they're very simple. One thing about me for those listening is I don't complicate shit. I keep it simple because simple makes things easy to take action with. When you complicate shit and make things complexity, it complicates everything and keeps you from taking action. It will rob you of your energy. Rule number 1 is called the 70-20-10 rule. You live on 70% of your income. That's after taxes. You invest 20% and give 10%. So if you make $100,000 a year, you need to, after tax, okay, so it means you need to make about $130,000. Then you live on 70. You put 20 into investments, E-Trade, real estate, whatever your level you're living at, and then tithe to charity. When you can train your mind to do that, you'll be able to retire and you'll get better with money. And ultimately, the goal is to live on about 10% of your income because that 20% that you invested outgrew your personal income anyway. Number 2, if you can't buy something with cash, don't buy it with credit other than a car or a home. All right. So if you can't afford, if you got to go put your wardrobe on a credit card that you're not going to pay off at the end of the month to collect points, like that's a bad business. That's bad bargain. If you got to go finance a Rolex watch, that's bad bargaining chips, man. If you got to go finance a wedding ring, or an engagement ring, that's bad bargaining chips, man. Don't do that shit. However, you should have a mortgage on your home. I'm a big believer in this. I think you should put 10 or 20% down at the most, and you should have a mortgage on your home because rates are ridiculously fucking low at the time that I'm recording this, and they're going to continue to be low for a long time. So if you get a 4% interest rate, but you invested the rest of the money that you would have put down on the house and you gain a 5% interest rate from that money, then you're making 1% off of fucking money that you would have lost anyway. Yep. Okay. 3, never have more than 6 months of living expenses in cash. Once you've got 6 months worth of all your bills saved up, you don't need a savings no more. You need an investment account. You need a fucking operating account, things where you paying your bills and shit out of normally, your income account, and an investment account. You don't need more than 6 months, man. If your life got flipped, turned upside down like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? Like you only need six months, you're going to be back on your feet, man. If you're a type of person that takes you more than 6 months to get back on your feet, you're in trouble. And if it's an accident, a car accident, snow skiing accident, some shit like that, you should have Affleck or some sort of insurance that's paying for that shit if you can't work for 6 months. Number 4 is my favorite. Don't waste money. Don't just spend money to spend money. Don't waste money. In my house, I could leave every light on in that motherfucker all month long and the AC on 60 degrees and I'd still be able to pay the bill. But I walk around behind my kids turning the goddamn switches off all the time, shutting the fucking door. Hey, man, how long you going to leave the front door open, man? Shut the goddamn front door, right? That just, I don't want to waste money anywhere, you know?
Good habits, though.
Number 5, don't spend money based on emotion. That's a big one, too. One of the tricks that I taught myself when I was coming up, if I wanted something emotionally, a new TV, a new radio, back then it was like, you know, big speakers and shit like that were the thing. I would save the cash up to where I could buy it for cash. And usually it would take me a month or 2, maybe 3 to save the money up. Then I realized I don't need that motherfucker anyway. And I would have wasted all that money if I'd have just bought it on emotion that day.
And impressing people who, and women.
That's an emotion too, you know? And when investing your money, number 6, when investing your money, do your due diligence. Don't just throw money at shit you don't know nothing about. Boy, I had to learn that one the hard way. Number 7, think 4 generations in the future before you spend or invest your money, right? So what are my great-grandkids going to be doing, right? How is this going to affect them? Is Apple still going to be around in 4 generations? Yeah, it's going to be. Is Amazon still going to be around in 4 generations? It'd be hard for it not to be. So when you're investing, think 4 years. That's a Jewish law, by the way. Maybe not a law, but a Jewish ideology. Number 8, never carry a credit card balance unless, there's always caveats because this is the rules of money, unless it's at 0%. So if you can borrow money for 12 months at 0%, then you can fucking keep 12 months worth of whatever debt you put on the credit card. But as soon as those 12 months are up and that credit adjusts, you need to have the shit paid off. So you ain't making minimum payments every month. You're trying to pay it off before the fucking interest rate kicks in. Because you know when you get a new credit card, they might say 24 months, 0%, blah, blah, blah. That's good, right? But never, like, we buy furniture from Nebraska Furniture for our flip houses or our rental houses and our personal house. And Nebraska Furniture was like, hey, we'll get this to you at 0%. Well, fuck, we might as well not spend $6,000 today then. You know what I mean? We can spend $1,000 a month for the next 6 months and still have the other fucking 4 every month left in. We'll do that. You know what I'm saying? We'll do that because it's not costing us nothing. It's actually allowing us to use our money for other shit in the meantime. But if it's more than 0%, don't carry a balance. Number 9, never have all your money in one account. I listened to a TikTok video the other day, and a dude had a bitch in a Lamborghini. Like, she was definitely a thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he checked his balance on his phone on speaker, and it's like, you have 12,149,000, but some ridiculous number. Not everybody's like, damn, he rich in the comments. I'm like, who the fuck keeps that much money in one account? Right. Like, that's some stupid shit. You know that shit's only FDIC insured to $250,000. So yo, $11,750,000 about to go out the fucking window, you idiot! If something goes wrong with
you
the bank,
get hit by one of them Nigerian scammers. It's
yeah, no shit. You fucking exactly, man. Ain't no getting that back. You insured to $250,000 of that. Don't even pay for the car in the video, you know. So keep your money spread out. Plus, here's the trick behind that. When I log into one bank account and I see that I got, let's say, $5,000 in that account, I'm like, fuck, man, I got to get to work today. Never mind that I might have 20 different accounts with 5-10 grand in them. But if I look at that one and it looks like, oh shit, $5,000, I got to get to fucking work today. You know what I mean? But if I looked at an account with a couple $1 million in it, I'd be like, shit, the show is nice outside today. You know? So that's that psychological game that we play too. Never have all your money in one investment unless it's your first deal. That's never go all in on something unless it's the first deal that you're doing, because then you got no choice but to go all in. Never spend more than you can truly afford. I think that's the thing. It's where the credit card thing I'm trying to save you guys from. You'll like this one, Darian. Don't spend money solely to impress others.
Facts.
Yep. Number 13, make sure the reward always outweighs the risk. A lot of people, they ain't really weighing the risk. They're focused on the reward. You got to make sure that you get a reward from your risk. Number 14, treat your money as if you worked hard for it, even when it's gifts, inheritances, and investment returns.
Amen.
You know, you win the lotto, treat that shit as if you work for it. That's why so many people blow their lotto winnings, right? 15, this is another favorite of mine. Never work for the same dollar twice. That means that if I make $1 in my main job, I'm not going to turn around and invest that in something I got to work in again to get another $1 out of it, right? I might as well have spent that time on my main thing. So what you invest your money in is passive investments, rental real estate, stock market, business franchises that are company owned and operated, things of that nature that give you cash flow that you ain't got to go work for. Last thing you need is 20 jobs like me. Trust me. 16, manage and adapt your budget monthly. You got to. 17, this is no brainer. Know your numbers, right? Know what your bills are every month. Know what your income is every month. Know what your taxes are going to be. You need to know your numbers. Number 18, this comes to investments and credit cards. If it sounds too good to be true, it fucking is. Number 19, inform yourself how taxes work and pay accordingly. This ain't no easy task, ladies and gentlemen, because taxes be changing all the time. I looked up the other day, who the fuck writes tax code? Right? So we know the Federal Reserve is a private company. The IRS is a government collection arm for a private company. Who the fuck who writes these rules? Does Congress write tax law? Fuck no, man. It's just random people that work for a privately owned company telling us we need to pay them more money.
It's crazy.
That's fucking nuts, bro. It's the most, and just when I thought 2020 couldn't get, that's the Federal Reserve. There's a chairman, but they make it seem like it's a government entity, but it's not. It's a fucking privately held business, just like your business, but you control the money, and you tell the government when to print money for you, and the government owes you that money that they printed back, and you get to write the rules for the government to collect the IRS for you, but it is a private business, just like you. It's got a board of fucking directors that work their way up through there as a private fucking business. Private.
So it's like the credit bureaus.
Crazy.
Credit bureaus are privately owned.
Shit, at least they're publicly traded. We can see their numbers. The Fed's not been audited in 70 years, I don't think.
Wait.
They say that the gold ain't even in Fort Knox anymore. We done fucking burned through that shit with bad trade deals. It's fucking crazy. Number 20, never rely on one source of income, right? You need multiple streams. Number 21, spend your time earning money until you can spend your money earning back time. So that's some good laws of money. You can live your life around those. You know, you really can.
Yeah, where do you got that at? You posted that somewhere? Send that to me.
Almost biblical.
Man, if you guys want to get a
if I
copy
live
of
by
that, go to rulesformoney.phonesites.com. Rulesformoney.phonesites.com. There's a little PDF that you can get there.
That's something to live by.
It's like 21 irrefutable laws of money.
Yep. I guess. Never really thought about that, but I just needed some shit to guide myself. You know, I do this shit for myself. I just give the rest of the world the game after I figure it out. You know,
I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm just going to use what he's got.
If you don't follow that, I mean, you don't want to.
I read some Dave Ramsey books,
you know?
and it has something similar to this, but the way he's put it together relates more to me.
Dave's great, man. You know, he doesn't like credit card debt either. I don't like debt either. The average person doesn't know how to handle it. They really don't. You know,
it's not easy. Don't think just because we're talking about it that it's easy. It's not fucking easy.
Self-control. That's what it takes.
Well, but I do feel those fears that you mentioned about having money and not getting rid of it because it's kind of like, fuck, there's a lot of money. What the fuck do I do with it? Now that you've given me the platform, I know what to do with it. I'll grab it. I'll put it over here, and it brings my bank account down to like a few grand, and I'm like, fuck, I need to get to work. I need to go sell some more fucking phones. Fuck. But the money's there. I just don't see it. Right? I forget about it.
And you get the dopamine of buying something. You still blew your money.
Yeah.
You still spent the money. You know what I'm saying? But you got something for it this time. You still spent, so you still get that dopamine hit of like, yeah, I spent that money. But you spend it on something proper.
It's kind of like what you said, putting the shoes over to the cart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like
Jose laugh at me because I'll go shopping and throw a bunch of shit in the cart online, and I'll leave it there for 2 or 3 days and go back and be like, man, I only need one of these 10 things, or man, I don't need any of this shit. That's just, but it makes me feel like I done bought the shit because I done put it in the cart. You know what I mean? And then after I go back a couple days later, I'm like, I really don't need that shit.
I feel it kind of reminds me, you know the phrase, numbers don't lie.
Yep.
People lie. Why? Because they have an emotion. They feel like, oh, I just gotta lie. It's an emotional thing, right? Where there's truth, there's no emotion. If you can treat money from a logical brain, you're gonna be rich. Because you know, okay, I need to do this to do this. It's really simple. Or I need to not spend my money on this so I can have money to invest into this. Oh, I need to put this $100,000 that I saved up and be ready to invest at the right time, at the right opportunity, where I'm going to do my due diligence. Those 21 laws are like an ecosystem. If you can treat money logically, you're going to be rich.
Yeah, if you're right. It's just like anything else. If you just remove the emotion from things, which I think Jose is really good at, but if you remove the emotion from things, things are never what they seem, right? Like, you remove the emotions that you have around the chick that you're dating, and you saw her treating your homeboy that way, you'd be like, she a piece of shit, bro.
Yeah.
But you got emotions and feelings involved, so you're willing to turn a blind eye. Same thing with money. You're like, oh, he over here spending his money on dumb shit. I spend my money on stupid shit. There's a big difference. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we have this emotional attachment to things. Same with sales. It's like if you get all hung up and emotional on the client that you worked on for 3 or 4 months and didn't close, you'll miss out on the other 5 clients that are waiting there for you to close them. Just like, my mentor told me one time, he's like, I love my cars, but when it comes time to sell them, I don't know them. He's like, he's always trading cars. He's like, there's no emotion. I love it while I own it. When I make up my mind it's time to sell it, I could give a fuck about it anymore.
Bye, Felicia.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm like that with everything I own. I don't have an emotional attachment to anything.
Yeah.
Like my mom left me a car when she passed away. It was no way I was going to drive around in her car. It's always reminding me of my mom, and fuck that. We sold it. I'd rather have the money and bought me something else with it. But I don't get emotionally attached to things. I've had Rolexes and nice cars and nice furniture and shit like that. When I lost it, it didn't matter. Like you can always make that back, but I don't understand how people can get emotionally attached to a vehicle or to, a pair of sneakers or jewelry. Like I just can't. I can't wrap my mind around that. Like you have to be. Fuck, I don't know. I don't understand it.
You know what it really is? It's a heart condition. And I'm gonna put it just like this: where do your treasures lie?
Yeah, in your heart.
In your heart. So if you place value, I gotta have the finest whip. That's where
I like nice shit.
Everything that you do subconsciously is gonna lead to where your heart is. If your heart is like, I want to build generational wealth, I know this isn't smart. I know that I need to save money. I know I'm going to find the right woman who's just going to accept me for me. I don't need to flash. I just got to be me. If you can see me, if you can see the wealth and the riches within me, and I can have wealth and riches in my character, my faith, my family, my relationships, I genuinely believe having financial success is a byproduct from having those things first.
That makes sense, man.
You gotta have money. You gotta have money to have great health, right? To go to the gym, hire a personal trainer. You need money for that. It's not free. You need for education. You need to buy books. You need to buy mentorships. You need to buy, into Apex Entourage. Get you started there. We'll move you up the ladder. You need money for these things. You need things for your health, right? We need doctors. Doctors aren't cheap. Pills and shots.
I told my mom I'm doing a concierge surgery with Matt. 3,000 months. She said, wow. She almost lost her shit.
Even for your spiritual growth, right? What does it teach us? It teaches us to give. We need money to be able to give, right? To some that aren't capable of doing it for themselves, right? They create charity programs and the church, to go in there, group and network and get the word, break bread with one another. And I believe that that's one of the best places to meet, someone who can be a part of your network and grow. Y'all can provide value. The spiritual is already there, as long as y'all can create an idea and move forward to it. And so great things happen at churches. So that costs money too. You need money. Money is not evil. Evil people are just evil. Evil people do evil shit with money. People with no money do evil shit to get it. But if you work for it, it's not evil. As long as you're following, something like Ryan's 21 laws of success with money. Get a Dave Ramsey book. They're probably like $30. Get that. Follow that if you can't follow the 21 rules Ryan has. And they're very relative. There's nothing that he's created other than formulated in a way that would work for him. But like I tell everybody that's in sales, it goes back to Zig Ziglar, right? a lot of shit, a lot of these books that have been written, hundreds of them, they all quote the same shit this man was writing a few years back before their time. You know, same thing with the church and philosophy. Same thing with the secrets of money and success. It's always there. You just have to put it in a formula that's going to best work for you, right? But money is not evil. Money helps people, especially if you're healthy with it and conscious. For sure. And have a formula to follow.
So it's not, and I'm 100% with you. It's not that money is evil and so many people think it is. That's why they don't make it and they're scared to make it. It's the love of money.
Yeah, that's what the Bible says.
Where your love is, your heart is. It all goes back to the heart, honestly. Like, if you love money, you loving. Loving is a synonym to me of idolizing. If you idolize money, your life is gonna fall apart sooner or later. Wherever the heart is, the body will flow, the actions will flow every time. Anybody who ever saw love money lost it. Anybody who ever seen give money got more of it. I literally, this is why I love God, because, you know, people get so tight with that 10%. I'll be putting that. I feel like God made it like that so you could get it 10% to make sure your heart will never fall in love with money. You'd be like, I know this comes from you. 10%. You know, that's your tithes.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. I just feel it. I'm going to get 5% more. And it's going to go to the greater good.
It's perception.
It's amazing, bro.
And people with no money create those. And it becomes a popular saying, right? Money is evil. Who says that? People with no money say that. People who aren't working, you know, people who are living on welfare, you know, they say shit like that. You know, gives them an excuse. It doesn't remind them of their failures when they have an excuse for it, right? I strongly believe that. But look at everything else around us, like Ryan was saying about the duffel bag, Louis Vuitton duffel bag. They look nice. They got their little LVs all over the place, Gucci belts. I got a Gucci belt on me. A lot of people, I've met people who go buy the Gucci belt, the Gucci pants, the Gucci shoes, and they're all Gucci down, right? A lot of people are slaves to fashion, right? No matter how broke they are.
That's a $10,000 fit.
Yeah, but no matter how broke they are they're slaves. They're whores to fashion. They have to have that purse. They gotta have that belt. They gotta have them shoes. And it goes to this book that I read called How to Hustle and Win by Supreme Knowledge. And check this out, because I fell into this when I was about 21. I was a real Versace whore when it came to fashion, right?
Because you knew that money you were making wasn't no good, and you need to get rid of it.
Yeah. And that's what it was. I'd go into the Galleria when hardly anybody, I was 21 wearing hard-sole shoes, right? I'd go in there, and they already knew my sizes. I'd go in there with 10 grand, and they had some Italian, I don't know, I haven't been there in years, right? This was before I went to the feds. I'd go in there with 10 grand. My little brother, he'd go in there with, 6, 7, 8 grand. We'd give it to him, and they'd tell us to take a walk. And we'd go walk around for about an hour. They'll come and bring the little cart, and they'll have so many shirts, so many pants, shoes, socks, and all this, and they'll tell us how to coordinate it with each other so we wouldn't have to wear the same. So we'd go up there every month to go do that. Well, this book, when I got locked up, I read this book called Hustle and Win by Supreme Knowledge, and what he had up there is how we've circled back around, right? So check this out. These were images, and it had an image of a slave and her daughter, right, being auctioned off on this block, right? And you've got these people raising their hands, making bids on them. And then you go to modern day. He had the modern day picture right next to it, and it's a black girl, 2 black girls on a pole, stripping. And you got people auctioning off, throwing money at them, right? And then there's another picture of a black dude getting branded, right? They show him with it tied up, hog tied, and they got that. What do you call those things?
Branding iron.
Branding iron. They're branding them. And then the picture next to it is this dude sitting there with the Gucci shirts, the Gucci belt, the Gucci pants. He branded himself, right?
That's crazy.
Like, I'm looking at that, I'm like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Like, it's modern day shit that people were still doing in the slave days, And how how it's marketed to the point where this is what it is, right? You're slaving yourself to fashion. You're being a slave for the dollar up there on the stage, auctioning yourself off, right? You're branding yourself with, name brand clothes. Like, circle around and look at it for what it is. And what's created our mental to accept that and not look at it in that way.
They have taught us to value everything outside of us.
But where's the marketing on how to invest your money in growth? Right? Like, I would have rather at 21, if someone would have taken the time to teach me the 21, laws of finance, maybe I would have followed that. I didn't know any better. If somebody would tell me you're fucking scared of having money because you think it's evil, man, bitch, I ain't scared of shit. If you ain't scared to invest it in this and watch it grow, shit, man, I ain't scared of that shit. I'll put some money, watch this. I would have maybe done that. I've got a friend right now. I'm not gonna say his name, but he was pretty much smarter than all of us, and we used to pick on him because he was a bigger nerd, and he didn't dress up like we did. He didn't have the 500 Mercedes Benzes at 21 years old, and the big houses. And I used to live in Valley Ranch. I had a house there and a townhouse down there. And what he started doing is he went to East Dallas and bought a house, and then he bought another house, and they were like 30 grand each, and bought another one and bought another one. Motherfucker, about 20 of them within a 3-year span. About 20 of them. Right now, those houses they bought for 30 grand are worth 300, and he's got them all out for rent. He's set for life, and didn't go to prison. So he's been doing pretty good.
He got $9 million in assets, and about, let's say, 60 grand a month in residual income.
Because his mama told him. His mama had enough sense to say, look, I know what you're doing with them boys over there, but you need to do this. She controlled his money, but I didn't have that. And I made more money than he did. So it just goes with education. You need money to educate yourself. You need to surround yourself with the right network. I've got the right network. Like me, and I'm not going to be in the same place I am 2 years from now. I promise you that. I'm just surrounded by so many winners. I'm surrounded by people who have been in my situation. I'm going through, yesterday I had a conversation with somebody who, had millions and crashed in 2012. And now he's doing multi-million, like this dude's fucking rich, right? And I hear all their other stories. I've heard Ryan's stories. I've heard some of my other mentor stories, and they've all crashed at some point, but they've always surrounded themselves around winners. As long as you're around winners, you're going to fucking win. There's no fucking way winners are going to have you around if you're a fucking loser. Yep. There's no way. There's no way a winner's going to call a loser and say, hey, I want to hang around with you.
No.
Fuck no.
They ain't gonna win for long if they do.
I got winners calling me every fucking day, wanting to meet me, talk to me. Third parties, hey, call your friend over here. I want to talk to him. There's something I want to talk to him about. They pick my brain. And as long as you surround yourself with winners and never be afraid to ask for questions, right? I'm not afraid to ask questions. If I don't know something, I'm not gonna fucking act like I know something. That makes you look dumber when you're talking about shit you don't know nothing about. Yeah. So I've always ask questions. I don't give a, hey, you got a minute? Yeah. And one thing about winners that have those answers, they love to give you those fucking answers. I've never had someone dodge a question. Hey, so what is it about investing in this and why this stock? They'll stop and explain it to you. They're not going to sit there and baby you through it, but they'll give you the answers. In real estate and commercial, investing in restaurants. I've got people that I'll ask questions about, and they'll walk me. You know what they always say? Start it, and I'll be there, and I'll walk you through the first two. I've always been offered that. And I think it's by hanging around the right people and providing value in return. I'm not a taker. I try to give more just to show my appreciation, not only their friendship, but their mentorship and their knowledge. If I don't have the talent, I'll outwork your motherfucking ass. I promise you. I will outwork your ass. You might be smarter, you might be stronger, but I will outwork your ass. That's one thing I will do. I will work my ass off. If I got to get up at 5 and go to sleep at 2 in the morning, I'm going to do it. I will do it because that momentum takes off. That doesn't mean I'm gonna spend the rest of my life getting up at 5 and going to sleep at 2 in the morning. It just means that's the work I need to put in till it starts taking off. You know, and I've learned that. Just hang around winners. Never be afraid to ask questions. And this is how you'll know you're around the right people. They will make time for you. I don't care how busy they are. There's not a time where I can't. Ryan, you know how many people want to have his ear? You know how many people want to talk to Ryan and have time with him? I don't bother him. But when I say, hey, can you call me? Hey, what's up, man? He'll call me right immediately. Same thing with my other guy. Everybody wants to be around him, you know. I'll give him a call. I mean, I'll just send them an Instagram about that car show. It's like, fuck, let me know next time they have. We'll take some of my cars out there, you know. And they respond real quick. Those are the right people to have around you. Now, if there's a winner around you that never makes time for you, he don't want you around. You got to question that or find somebody else that's a better fit for you. I strongly believe that.
And real winners want to see other people win. It's just a good
it's lonely.
feeling, man.
It's lonely at the top, they say.
It's a good feeling to see people win, bro.
Yeah. And, you know, I'll say this as we wind this down. When you were out there spending all that money and your buddy was buying houses in the hood, you said you made more money than him. He was just smarter with the money. So I want you guys that are out there listening to think about this. Is they always say it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. And it's really not even about keeping it, it's how much you can invest. If you can have a long-term mindset. See, I'm thinking about the next 20 years of my life. You've heard me mention the next 20 years of my life in this podcast episodes, multiple episodes. I've talked about that because I'm thinking the next 20 years. I'm not thinking about this Gucci bag today for $2-3 grand. That thing is going to cost me $200,000-$300,000 20 years from now. It's still going to be worth $2 grand. But it cost me, instead of making that investment into something, it's cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's how I think. So the little bullshit you guys are out there buying and blowing money on right now, you think, oh, it's just a little $5 grand here and there. But 20, 30 years from now, that could have been $500,000 that you fucked off. And a lot of folks don't think of it that way. I mean, I got a plan right now that in the next 20 years, in the next 5 years, I'm not going to have to work anymore. I'm still going to do it. But then that pressure's gone from me. That's just going to allow me to perform even that much better. You know, I don't have to anymore. I choose to. Right now, I choose to and I have to. But when I don't have to anymore, but I still choose to, that's real love, you know? So, hey, thanks for listening to this episode. And we're going to keep cranking them out every week. So make sure you tune in every single week to us. If you haven't caught the old episodes, man, they're equally as good, if some of them even better, man. So go check those out. Make sure you share this stuff on social media. You can find me at Hardcore Closer on Instagram.
I am Jose Escamilla Jr.
Yep. Darian Stevens 1.
Cool. We'll see y'all next week.